Hey everybody, welcome back to Living Traditions Homestead. How has the weather been over by you guys? Because here it's been rain, 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 and then rain and more rain.
And then a few more days of rain on top of that.
And actually right now it's starting to rain again.
Right, we just started filming for you guys and now it's raining again. So it is just crazy.
Well, and if you see behind us, this is our big summer garden and there's not a single thing done in there. We got one initial tilling done several days ago, I guess.
Yeah, about a week ago, maybe 8 or so days ago, I was able to get out here and till because we had a couple days where it dried up just enough. I was able to till in any, weeds that had started to grow over the winter and things like that. And that's as far as we've gotten because it has rained every day for the last week with the exception of one day. And that was the day that our daughter's graduation party was because she just graduated from high school.
So I've been seeing all over online that everybody is planting their gardens and it's making me a little anxious because I feel like we are totally behind, but we really aren't.
No, we're not too bad. So here in southern Missouri, our last frost date is actually toward the end of April. It's like April 25th, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
But we never plant at our last frost date because we've learned our lesson since we've lived here that we always get one more frost somewhere around the beginning of May. So we never plant our garden before May 15th. That's just a rule that we stick by no matter how tempting it is because we get some warm days. We never plant before May 15th because it's just not worth losing everything that we've worked so hard to start.
And really what Kevin is talking about are the really frost sensitive plants like tomatoes, peppers, sweet potatoes, those kinds of things that really cannot handle anything near a frost temperature.
Right.
Like Kevin said, we just cannot risk losing 60 to 100 tomato plants and an entire 50-foot row of peppers.
Right.
And on and on.
Right. Cool weather things like lettuce, onions, potatoes, cabbage, cauliflower, that type of thing. Those we can get in sooner. But yes, I'm talking about the heat-loving plants, the summer garden plants, cucumbers, tomatoes, peppers, green beans, all the things that you think of when you think about eating out of the garden in the summer.
But hopefully, fingers crossed, over the next couple of days, we'll have some time where we can actually get in here, put our amendments down, till, and then put down our woven weed fabric. There are a couple surprises this year for our garden.
Right, yeah, we're changing things up just a little bit this year. We're excited to show you guys. I'll give you just a little bit of a teaser. We actually got a soil test done this past winter, and it told us a few things about our soil that we need to change. So we're going to be bringing some changes to that in hopes that it will really help things. But we're not quite ready to tell you guys all of that just yet. You'll probably see that in a video next week.
Yeah. So on such a wet day where it's raining on and off, what on earth can we do? What are we going to be doing with you today?
Well, we have something exciting planned. I'll tell you that even though it's raining, the temperatures are warm. In fact, we're supposed to be in the low to mid 80s for the next few days. So the temperatures are very warm, which makes it the perfect time to do what we're going to do today. Let's go for a little walk. We've got something fun to show you. So for today's project, we're actually going to need a cage. So that's the first thing that we're going to do is load a cage into the trailer. So what we're doing today is we're actually going to move the ducklings from their brooder down to the orchard area where they can live for the next several weeks in tractors so they're not making such a big mess inside of the brooder. Let's go inside and I'll show you how big they're getting. They're almost 3 weeks old now. So inside of the brooder area, we haven't had the heat lamps on in here now for over a week. And we've actually been leaving their window open in here even overnight so that they acclimate to the weather. Now, ducklings are much more hardy than chicks. At 3 weeks old, for regular chicks, I wouldn't move them outside. But for ducklings, by this age, they're fine. Especially the pecans, by 8 weeks old, they're actually at butcher size. So, I mean, these guys are growing super fast. Come in and take a look at them. Now, for those of you who didn't see the first video that we did a few weeks ago when we got the ducks, we received 2 different types of ducks. We've had ducks on the homestead for probably going on 10 years now, and one of the very first types of ducks that we ever got when we still lived in Arizona was Pekin ducks. They're the big white ducks like on the Aflac commercial. We absolutely loved them, but we haven't had them here in Missouri, so this time around we decided to order some Pekins, which are the all yellow ones that you see right now. And then the other breed that we got this time are called Welsh Harlequin. They're kind of like a khaki Campbell duck. They're, you know, they have a blue head. The males have a blue head, greenish head, like a mallard almost, but they're a bigger duck. They don't fly, and they should be really good down in the orchard area, in that chicken moat area. Let me grab one. I want you guys to see just how big they are getting. Look how big these guys are already. A couple more days and they'll be 3 weeks old, and they are just amazing to me how fast they're growing. I know you're a little nervous, but it's okay. Now, just a few days ago, we lowered the protein percentage on their feed. I talked a little bit about that in the first video that we did about raising ducklings. Ducklings are a little trickier than chicks when it comes to feeding because you have to start them on a high protein, but you don't want to keep them there for very long or they'll develop a condition called angel wing, where their wings, or maybe sometimes just one, but sometimes both, will stick straight out and they almost look like an airplane. And it can be a permanent condition. So we did start them on a 22% protein feed, and now we've lowered them down to an 18% protein feed. And after about a month, we'll lower them down again to about a 16%, and there they can stay pretty much for the rest of their lives. So by doing that, we greatly reduce the chances of them getting that angel wing condition. What's really prompted us to move them out of here today, though, and down to the orchard, is that they've outgrown a second waterer. I showed you guys directions on how to make these waterers on the first video that we did. If you want to learn how to make one, go back and watch that video. This is the one that I made on that video. We actually started using this when we first got them, realized these holes were just a little too big, and when they were tiny, they could actually crawl in and swim around in here. So we made a second one with a little bit smaller holes. That lasted about a week. This one's lasted a little over two weeks. But now they're getting to the point where their heads are too big to fit through these holes, and they need to go to just a regular waterer. But a regular water inside of a barn like this, just like a water that we would use for our chickens, is going to make a huge mess. The benefit of this type of water when they're little is that it doesn't make much of a mess at all. So we need to get them into some chicken tractors, or into, I guess they'll be duck tractors now, so that if they make a big mess, it's not a big deal. We can just move the tractor the next day and give them some fresh grass to be on. So that's what we're doing today. We're going to load all of these guys into that cage. We're going to take them down to the orchard. We're going to get everything set up, and we're going to have them now live outside in one of our duck tractors. Now these two are the Welsh Harlequins.
They're the bigger ones. Raining pretty good now.
Now, we originally ordered 10 of each kind. We lost one of the Welsh Harlequins during shipping, and then we lost one of the Pekins just the day after they arrived. So we have 18 of them now, 9 of each. All right, we're over by the orchard in our new chicken moat area. Now these ducklings aren't going to be in the moat area right now. They're going to be inside where we raised our Cornish cross broilers a few weeks ago. Right now what I'm going to do is try to chase all the chickens this way so we can open these gates and they can't get out. Come on guys, go. All right, see, now that blocks off this entire thing. Now technically the chickens could run all the way around here, about 900 feet, and they could come out on this side and get out. Luckily chickens aren't really that smart, so I don't think they're going to do that. They're going to stand here and wonder why they can't get through this gate. Also, over here, Rose and Babe came over because they could hear the ducklings chirping in the back of the trailer and they want to know what's going on. It is really funny how the animals on the homestead or on the farm get used to the way things are, and anytime there's a change, they pick up on it. Like that. She wants to know what the heck is in the back of the trailer. So it's just funny to me that, you know, these animals, they really get used to their routine, they get used to where they live, and they want to know when something's about to change. All right, we need to go get one of these tractors set up so we can get the ducklings moved.
We're going to be using the same tractors that we use for our Cornish cross. They're actually all in freezer camp now. So we'll be pulling one of those out to put the ducklings in, but I also want to show you just what a difference all of the chicken manure makes on your area when you move them every single day. You can see these stripes of dark green longer grass next to lighter green shorter grass, and that is where our Cornish cross chickens were every day when we moved them. So it does make a huge difference. We had 2 tractors going at one time. The ducklings we're just going to have in one. But with the ducklings, we're just going to start where we left off with the Cornish cross and just keep fertilizing this area. So let's get this set up. We've actually had a nice quick break from the sprinkles. Let's get this done so that the ducklings aren't getting so wet, and see if we can beat the next round of rain.
All right, so this will be the tractor that the ducklings are in. Now the nice thing about these tractors and the way that I have them designed, on rainy days we put this piece of vinyl to cover the entire top, and this is attached on, but on sunny days we can actually peel this back and give them a place to get in the sunlight and some better airflow, so it'll keep them nice and protected. At this age you still don't want the ducklings to get too wet. Ducklings should not be allowed to swim until they're at least a month old. In the wild, you may see baby ducklings swimming with their mother. That's because the mom has oils on her feathers that she transfers to the babies. In captivity, or ducklings that don't have a mom, they don't get that oil on their feathers. So if these ducklings were to get wet, it would just kind of soak right in, kind of like putting water on a down pillow. And they could get chilled and die actually from it. So you don't want to let them swim until they start producing that oil themselves, which is, you know, when they start to get their real feathers, which is about a month old. So you want to keep an eye on that. Otherwise, you could have some bad problems with your ducklings. All right, we're going to get their feeder and waterer set up, and then we'll start moving the ducklings. All right, now for a waterer, we're going to use the same thing that we use for our Cornish cross. And if you want to learn how to make these, you can go back to our Cornish cross videos. And I have, I think, actually 2 videos on how to make these waterers. But basically, it's a 5-gallon bucket that's got a tiny hole in each side. We fill that up with water. You put a lid on that fits pretty tight. And then we just use one of these black rubber pans. We'll tip that upside down inside of the pan, and this will let out enough water to fill up to where those holes are, but it won't let any more water out. And this is a good way to give them, you know, quite a bit of water all at once, but, you know, hopefully we'll only have to fill this once a day. Now for feeders, we're going to be using not the same thing that we use for the Cornish cross, because we really don't want automatic feeders for the ducks. First of all, ducks will just eat and eat and eat and eat, and they'll go through way too much feed. The second problem with automatic feeders for ducks, at least in my experience, is that they're so messy, because the ducks will go get a mouthful of water, bring it back over to the feeder, you know, get water in the feed, and then before long your automatic feeders will actually get clogged up. So we switched them to just these trough type feeders. These we can clean out and refill once a day, and it'll be a cleaner environment for them to be eating. So we'll put 2 of these inside the tractor as well. And that's really all they need. We're gonna go get the ducklings. We'll get them in here. Now these tractors are set up in such a way that like 2/3 of it is covered and 1/3 is open. And this should be plenty of protection from the rain that we're gonna get yet today. We're not expected to get any bad storms yet today, just some more sprinkles here and there. So, and then the next few days are gonna be nice. All right, let's go get the ducklings and start putting them in the tractor.
Here you go.
There you go.
You know those guys.
There you go. Well, it looks like everybody is settling in. It looks like they found their food and their water. It sure doesn't take ducks long to find their water, that's for sure. Now, these ducklings are going to be permanent residents here on the homestead. A lot of people ask why we raise ducks. The pecans are actually a very good dual-purpose duck for meat and for eggs. In the past, when we lived in the Phoenix area, we raised a lot of the pecans, and we raised them for both reasons. They're really good layers, but they also grow very fast and provide a lot of meat. So even though these are going to be permanent residents, down the road we may be saving some eggs to incubate and then raise those up for meat. We do miss having some duck meat. I know Sarah really likes the duck fat, so that is a really good reason to be raising some more pecans, because they're a good source of duck fat. The Welsh Harlequin will probably be mostly just for eggs, and because, to be honest, I just really like ducks. I think they have so much personality. If I had to choose between raising ducks and raising chickens, to be honest, I would probably pick ducks, only because I think their personalities are so great. I love the duck eggs. I actually prefer duck eggs over chicken eggs, just because their size is bigger, and I think they're just a little richer and have a really great taste. If you haven't tried duck eggs, I highly recommend either get some ducks and try them, or find a local farmer that raises ducks and sells duck eggs. I think you'll really enjoy them.
Well, it's good to get those messy ducklings into a tractor and on the grass, so we don't have to work so hard to keep them clean and dry.
Looks like Rose and Babe are excited to have some new neighbors here across the way. We wanted to give you guys a quick update on how Rose is doing as well. As you can see, she's looking healthy. She is producing a lot of milk. There's no more signs of mastitis at all. At this point, we're still doing the CMT test every
every few days.
Every few days, just to make sure, but there are absolutely no signs of mastitis anymore. Now, flies, on the other hand, it is that time of year where all of the cows are starting to get flies. But Sarah's going to make up a batch. Actually, she did last night, a batch of her homemade fly spray. We just need to use it several times a day. The natural stuff doesn't work as long as the chemical stuff. So we'll use it a few times a day for sure at both milkings.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there are kind of 2 or I guess 3 things that you can do for flies with cows. One is to do nothing. The other is to really put poison on them, or put these little ear tags on them that put basically poison on them, or to try a natural spray, which is what we're doing. Like Kevin said, it doesn't work quite as well as, you know, the chemical stuff that isn't good for her, but it's better than nothing, and it really keeps the flies off of her during milking time. So twice a day she's getting sprayed with the natural fly spray.
Well, you guys, we're glad you spent some time with us today on the homestead, moving the ducklings. On these crazy days where the rain is just on and off, you have to find these little projects to do in between the rain showers. Hopefully the garden gets dried out. We can't wait to start bringing you guys gardening videos again this year. Some of the improvements that we're going to make to the garden, I hope that this is going to be absolutely our best garden season yet.
You guys, if you're enjoying our videos, make sure that you hit the subscribe button below. We'd also love it if you would give this video a like. And as always, the best way that you can help us here on the homestead is just to share our videos on all your social media. Until next time, thank you so much for stopping by our homestead. Take care and God bless.
God bless.